Good evening, everybody. This is Scott DeCamp of CatchMark SportsNet. We're in the studio here tonight. It's Wednesday night, kind of a makeup session of the Coach's Corner, but we're glad to have Justin Dennett here with us, along with senior quarterback Andrew Kooi. Thanks for coming in tonight, guys. I know it's a big week. You're in the middle of preparation for your regional final with Lansing Catholic. So, again, thanks for being in, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
So, we're going to jump right into it and talk about that 35-22 victory over Reed City. At Reed City, that's a big win. Reed City team that's had a lot of success in recent years. I thought you guys got off to a great start, jumped on them right away, and I also thought, your guys' balance offensively, running, passing, and then as well as your defense made some big stops at key moments. So we'll start off with Coach Dennett, and just what was your kind of analysis of that game, and what were the things you think that made that happen?
Yeah, kind of like what you said, just getting off to that quick start was huge for us. We got the ball first and marched right down the field. We were able to run the ball and kind of control the game that way. And then Kooi made some great throws after that initial drive. And, the defense came through with some stops early. But, that quick start on offense is really kind of what set the tone.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've seen a better pass this season than the one he threw to Tug. I mean, that was right. It was a great pass, great catch. I mean, when you saw that play or knew what play was developing, I mean, what goes through your mind on a play like that?
Well, like when you see what you want to see, like the read that you want, and like you see that that safety bites, you're just like, yes, it just feels so good. You just throw the ball and it feels good. So.
Were you thinking,
yeah.
Oh man, don't overthrow him?
After the throw, I was like, oh, I put a lot into that throw, and then like. Obviously caught it, but it kind of takes, because I'm so short, I can't see the play. So it takes me a while because I kind of have to let the crowd tell me. And so it takes a beat in between the play, but yeah, it feels good to throw a ball like that and complete it, so yeah.
I can't recall, did you take a hit on that play or no?
No.
That's better yet then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can actually see what happened, but
mm-hmm.
No, that was a 51-yard pass. Again, beautiful pass, and I think that's been really key for you guys, the way you've been throwing the ball the last couple games especially. I just think that changes the dynamic of your team and your offense. And what would you say about that? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, for sure. We don't want to be too one-dimensional where we're just running the ball and everyone can kind of key on Dylan in our running game. So when Kooi's able to make some big throws like that, it makes us tough to stop. So that was kind of the key to that game.
Yeah, Andrew was 7 of 14, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Dylan Everett, monster game, 29 carries, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, just being able to do both effectively. And, Dylan ran hard. He showed some moves. I think he kind of had the full arsenal on display too, where he had a lot of hard-earned yards. And, of course, you got to credit the guys up front for that. But he also had some plays where he really displayed his moves. Nothing better, I think, than that final run that he had that put it away, where I think it was 4th and 1. You guys, I don't know if you guys were looking to score or looking to just get the first down and then, put it away and kneel it there. But, he showed some pretty nice moves on that run.
Yeah, we were really just looking to get the first down, and then he kind of saw something and made a big play and was able to get the touchdown out of it. But yeah, what I was really impressed with was that last drive, just how physical and how hard he was running the ball. Because people think of him as kind of a speedster and, just a big play back, but those were some tough yards and first downs he was able to get us on that drive.
Yeah, and have you ever had to try to tackle him in practice, Andrew?
No, thankfully no. But I was talking to some of my friends, and I was like, every game there's a Dylan moment, and I was waiting for that Dylan. Like, obviously he had some good moments, but I was waiting for that Dylan moment where like you think he's gonna get tackled or lose some yards, but no, he's gonna bounce it outside and go around for a touchdown. And I was waiting for that Dylan moment, and it couldn't have come at a better time. So
no, there was just a series of big plays, which you're going to need at this point of the year. I mean, obviously you got to play fairly mistake-free football, but that play, I thought your pass to Paul Olson, he was kind of underneath, but then he made some things happen. I mean, you had another touchdown pass as well, and I just thought your offense was really sharp, and that's a good Reed City team. I mean, it's a team that beat Whitehall 38-28 in Week 9, and they're just a physical team. But I don't know if you guys are just really sharp now, or maybe it's a good matchup, or maybe all of the above. What would you say, Andrew? What do you think in terms of that Reed City game?
Well, I mean, they're a good team, and I think they have a really good defense, but I think it's a mixture of both. But I think we just really had a good week of practice that week, and I think we came out really sharp and firing on all cylinders. So yeah, I think it was a mixture of both, but I think we were really sharp that game too.
And again, that defense too. I mean, Jarka had 9 tackles, led the way 9 tackles, and the one that sticks out in my mind was the corner blitz on a 4th down play, which, you know, obviously the final margin, I think the game ended up being closer than the final margin suggests, although you guys were in the lead the whole time. And so I just think that that was a huge play, but Colton Blankstrom 8 tackles, Hayden McDonald 8, and Jancic had 6. So it was right across the board again. Just you got contributions from a lot of different guys. So, but moving forward, you're talking about a good week of practice. I mean, obviously that's what it's going to take this week too. Switching gears to Lansing Catholic, what are the keys, Justin, this week to getting it done this week?
Well, it's a totally different offense to prepare for our defense. You know, going from the wing tee last week, and now Lansing Catholic is spread. They're unbalanced. They throw it all over the place. They'll be empty, and so it's a lot different. So just trying to keep it as simple as possible for our guys, but getting everybody to understand, you know, formations and what they like out of certain things. So it's going to require a lot of attention to detail from our guys. But yeah, just focusing on that this week on the defensive side of the ball will be huge.
Yeah, we had David Dusenberry on our show as a guest on the First and 10 show yesterday, and the guy does his homework. He's not just your average fan, but he's hardcore. He really loves his Montague football, especially. And I think it was him that said that, or estimated that Lansing Catholic is like a 70-30-ish running or pass to run. I'm not sure if it's that extreme, but what have you guys seen on film? Either of you guys can answer this one in terms of what they do particularly well, do you think?
You can go ahead.
In terms of their offense, it's not quite 70-30. I would guess in their big games it might be, but in games that they kind of had a big lead, they run the ball quite a bit. Yeah. But in a close game, they want to throw it, and they have the leading receiver in the state, Alex Waters, number 5, and he's, you know, a 3-year starter. They won a state title with him as a sophomore in Division 5, so they're experienced. They have some talented kids. The biggest thing that stuck out to me is the quarterback's only thrown 2 interceptions all year. So he's just a good decision maker and doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. So those are kind of the things that stuck out about their offense. Their defense, you know, they've given up some points, so hopefully our offense is kind of clicking right now. We're able to move the ball and have some success there. But they're still very athletic. They have some size up front, good linebackers, and their good receivers play defense too. So a lot of skill on the field.
Yeah, that's and you know, I looked at their scores, and you can never just look at scores and that doesn't tell you the whole story, obviously. But you know, I think that's a game. I think it's a game you guys can win. I know you guys always think that going into every game. That's the Montague mentality. It's been that way for a long time. You know, beyond just the basics, you know, just the taking care of the ball, you know, wrapping up, you know, keeping things in front of you. Any other keys, would you say, Andrew, to this game, to getting a win here, besides what we already discussed?
Like I said, a good week of practice and getting Dylan going. Like Dylan's good every game, and yeah, just running good routes, throwing the ball well, just getting our offense fired up and ready to go. So yeah.
And you guys will be playing on turf this week. Have you guys played on turf yet this year? I didn't think you had.
We haven't yet. Oak Ridge would have been the only game, but that was at home. So yeah, we haven't played on turf yet. We're hoping to go practice tomorrow on turf, but depending on the weather, we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I think that will be an advantage for us. Just we have a lot of speed and a lot of athletes too, so it'll be nice to get out on turf.
You mentioned the weather too. I think it's going to kind of take a turn for the worse by the weekend, by the sounds of it. Maybe some rain, maybe sleet, snow, whatever. Going to be 30s, maybe pushing 40, maybe, I don't know. But does that come down to a mental toughness thing too? Because you just got to deal with the elements. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. When I first moved here, it was like I living in Mexico in the heat for 6 years. It was pretty tough, but I've gotten used to it, and especially last year going into January, there were some cold games, some cold practices, so definitely got used to it. Thankfully from last year, and you're right, it's definitely mental toughness, and it's just something you gotta do in Michigan. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good segue too, because I wanted to talk about you. We did a feature on you guys, or on you, I should say, the week of the Whitehall game, And we talked about your background coming from Mexico and your parents being on the mission, being missionaries and everything. And what's this adjustment been like? And if you carry it through to where you are now, I mean, what's this experience been like, I guess, for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, I've met people, and like now that I look at them, I feel like I've known them my entire life. I've met some of my best friends here, and this experience has been amazing. I mean, growing up, I've always wanted to play football, but I've been homeschooled, so I couldn't really do that, and it's been everything and more that I've expected and wanted. So this experience has been amazing, and especially winning the state title, and it's just been all around amazing. So yeah.
We talked about it in the story, but he's a multi-talented guy. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, you'd be easier to find out what he can't do, as opposed because he can do a lot of different things. You obviously, you're a good athlete, even though you're a kicker as well. So people sometimes say, "Oh, he's just a kicker." I think anyone who knows you knows better than that. But obviously now a quarterback, you played like a slot and receiver. You played soccer. You played the drums. I heard you're just an extraordinary gamer. What are some of the skills that you've learned discovered about Andrew that maybe others might not know?
Yeah, I think all those things you listed are pretty much what I've figured out. The gaming is the one that I kind of laughed at. I guess he's into streaming a little bit, so that's kind of funny. But no, he's just a really talented kid, and like you said, music and soccer, kicker. I mean, just all around good athlete. We're lucky to have him.
Have you taken him on in any video games or not?
I haven't, no.
Are you a gamer at all too, or not?
I game a little bit.
I'm still waiting for that Warzone match.
Yeah.
Are you the best on the team when it comes to all that stuff?
Who
Who can give you a run for your money?
Let me think. Hayden McDonald's pretty good at. Haybale's pretty good at video games. Tug's pretty. We're all pretty good at video games, I think. So.
Who talks trash the most?
Let me think. Probably River Slamkowski. He talks a lot of crap.
He's got to be on the all-name team too. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good name.
Yeah.
That's a great football name. That last name especially, Slamkowski. But I could see Hayden being a guy who's a sneaky trash talker, because it's always the quiet guys, the guys who seem quiet. They're the ones that can really talk the trash, I think.
Yeah.
So. But back to the kicking thing. You talked about the cold weather and everything. Does it feel like you're kicking a brick when you get into this cold weather? Or is it just you get your adrenaline going? You don't even really feel that.
At first, like going out and like warming up, yeah, it definitely feels like I'm kicking a brick wall. But like after a while, we get the ball warmed up a little bit, get my foot warmed up a little bit, and then I can't really notice it after that.
So the goal, I think, and I don't know, I've heard other programs say this when you're making a playoff run, and I think Shane Fairfield might have been the coach who said this from Muskegon. We got to play some cold weather games so we can get the warm weather games, so we can get inside Ford Field. I know that's the goal for a lot of guys, and I know you guys can't look past anyone. You're not going to look past Lansing Catholic, but do you guys? I think a lot of people are picking against you guys this week. Maybe consider you underdogs. Do you view it that way, or do you maybe embrace it in some ways if you are the underdogs?
I think some guys use that as a little motivation, but we haven't really talked about it. We're focused on ourselves and getting better each day. And Lansing's a very good team. I think they're ranked 1 in D6, or they were last time there were rankings out. So most people probably view us as the underdogs, but it's not something we really talk about. We're just trying to get better and prepare for them. And we think we match up really well with them, and it's going to be a tough game, but it's definitely one that we think we can come out on top.
Well, I learned my lesson the first half of the season. I picked against you guys at Edwardsburg, okay, whatever. And you guys did lose that game, but I picked against you, I think, against Oak Ridge. I ate those words. Picked against you guys in North Muskegon because I'm thinking, well, North Muskegon's coming around. Nope, ate those words. And so there came a point where I'm like, I'm done. But I might have picked against you guys in Whitehall too, but I'm not picking against you guys this week. Right. I think you guys, obviously, maybe a lot of people aren't giving you a chance. I'm giving you guys a chance. I just have that feeling, because you guys, I think Montague just knows what these big games mean, and I think you guys can elevate and do it. But just in terms of the intangibles in a game like this, what else is key just to be playing football this time of year and to keep it going? Is there anything else, like as a coach, you got to get your kids prepared for?
I think it's just having a great week of practice, like we talked about, and we kind of talked about the weather. That can always change things. That's why late in the season, teams that run the ball well and play tough defense usually do well in the playoffs, just because sometimes it can be harder to throw it. But this week, I think the weather will be fine Saturday, so we'll see how that turns out. But other things, special teams will be big. They have a kicker who puts it in the end zone every kickoff. They run a interesting two-punter formation that Ferris State kind of made popular around here. And their best athlete rugby punts it, so he can be dangerous.
Is that Waters again?
Yeah. They had a big fake on like 4th and 20 against Millington that they converted. So just little things like that are usually the difference in these playoff games.
Yeah, you got a common opponent, Portland, which again I think that's dangerous and looking too closely into that because I think they were up 3 touchdowns and then it was a tight game and then they pulled it out and then you guys lost 34-6, but I think you guys moved the ball throughout the game, just didn't maybe punch it in or capitalize when you had chances. So do you think that maybe doesn't tell the whole story when you compare those scores?
Yeah, it's always hard to compare scores. Like that's why people were picking against us last week because Reed City beat Whitehall, So it's tough to tell, and we struggled to finish in that Portland game, like you talked about. We had some opportunities. We were pretty thin that week too. Just even in practice, we were missing some guys, and not to make any excuses, but it was a tough week for us coming off that Whitehall loss too. So it's tough to compare those scores. I don't really look into that a whole lot. I think we're 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Is there a feeling that you guys just get to, maybe you get to this time of year, or maybe a feeling for this specific group of guys where you just have that maybe quiet confidence? Do you think that exists? I can kind of sense it, but do you feel that?
Yeah, I can feel that. I just feel like it's like this time of the year where I just feel like we're gonna win ball games, and it's just the feeling that I have. So yeah, you're right. It's just like this feeling.
Do you think? I mean, is there something to that? Do you think where a team gets that or has that I guess that mentality?
Absolutely. Obviously, I'm not from here, so coming in as an outsider, it's something I noticed right away in these big games. The kids just kind of come in with that expectation. They're confident, and when adversity hits and things aren't going well, they don't really flinch. They'll keep playing and keep having those same high expectations. So it's definitely some confidence that's been instilled in them, and being through these playoff runs and these big moments, gives them that experience.
Yep. Andrew, I know you're trying to get through a big football game here, but what's in your future? If you could just let everyone know what you're kind of thinking of doing, after high school, and what you want to do with your life.
Well, definitely want to go to college. I'm probably gonna go kick. I want to go to Davenport University, and maybe a couple other schools I'm thinking about, but Davenport's probably my number one. But yeah, I probably want to go there for like marketing, and go there to become a marketing manager, and but definitely kicking at a college somewhere.
I mentioned earlier about the drums, playing the drums, and you played at your church, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's really cool, and I watched you on a stream one time. But tell me, what is some of the other stuff you can play? Like, who's your favorite? Who's the best drummer that you've ever seen before? Like, who would you want to model yourself after?
Well, growing up, I listened to a lot of Christian music, and I was a really big Newsboys fan. And their drummer's name is like Duncan or something like that, and I really liked his drumming. He was like crazy and everywhere, so I think I really model after him. So yeah.
Have you heard of Neil Peart? He used to play for Rush, the Rush drummer.
Oh yeah.
He passed away, I don't know, a few years ago, whatever it was. Have you ever heard him?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
Yeah, he's a good drummer. I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, yeah, no, he's really good. There's a lot of good drummers out there.
Do you ever see the young kid? He's older now. He's probably in his teens, but there was a kid that was like 6 years old that was just amazing. I don't know if you've seen it.
I think I follow him on Instagram.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. That's what's always fascinated me. I'm not a musician by any means, but if I ever would have gotten into it, I think the drums would have been the one I would have gone for. But did you kind of see the thing where the parents have these, no, not the drums, don't do the drums?
Yeah.
But did you have to deal with that with your parents, or did they kind of encourage it?
They encouraged it. My dad really likes the drum. He doesn't really play, but he just likes it in general. He's always wanted to play it. But they've always encouraged it. I used to get like a drum set like every other year for Christmas, because I always destroy the ones that, because they brought me like these really cheap ones, and I just like pound on them. And but yeah, they definitely encouraged it. I mean, they weren't really too mad if I played loud, but
so you're living with your Aunt Becky and Uncle Chad
Mhm.
and Owen and his younger brother, and I just keep thinking of the scene from Step Brothers where you got a drum set and Owen's gonna go in and mess with your drums. Do you have that going on there or not?
I mean, a little
Don't touch my drum
bit.
set.
A little bit. It's more of.
We'll keep it more PG on this show because
Yeah.
this could go a bad way if we kept going on
Yeah.
this. But
Yeah, it's more my cousin Eli. He's the big, like, he used to come, like, when we were, like, really, really little. I remember I'd have my, like, one of the drum sets that my parents bought, and he used to come over. And he was, like, this little guy. And he would come over and, like, just bang, like, wail on my drum set. And I was, like, just, like, staring at him, like, you better cut it out right now.
no, that's awesome. But do you guys have any closing thoughts on the game? And obviously it's a huge one. And I think I've talked to quite a few Montague fans. They're ready to go right now. They're ready to get there. But any final thoughts from either of you guys on what's coming up?
We're just really excited. For me, this has been a great experience, and that district title Friday night was just an awesome feeling, and great to see our guys pull through and kind of when we were underdogs come out on top, and we're looking to do the same thing this week.
And what about you? I mean, obviously any next game could be your last, but I mean, what's your mentality?
Well, I kind of think that, like, this could be my last practice, so I might as well go as hard as I can, and because you never know. Like, even, like, it doesn't even mean, like, this could be my last game. Like, I could get hurt or something like that. Like, play every game like it's your last, or play every down like it's your last, and that's kind of the mentality that I have. So yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. Again, this is Andrew Kooi, senior quarterback for Montague, and Coach Justin Dennett. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. This will do it for this Coach's Corner episode. We'll keep doing these as long as the Wildcats keep going, and appreciate you guys coming in. And check us out on CatchMarkSports.com, everybody. Thanks a lot.